Employee of the Month
by Sevastian Winters.
The trouble started, as these things often do, with a form.
Form 32BAF, Resource Allocation Report. Just typing the name makes me taste bile. It required names, tasks, signatures, and something called accountability, which was rich considering the company I worked for, Briggswell Solutions.
No one knew what we solved. I like to think of us as a car with no steering wheel. It wasn't going anywhere fast, but everyone was too busy turning knobs and pulling levers to notice.
Still, I believed in the work. Somewhere, buried beneath our layers of incompetence and bureaucracy, the company had a good heart. We were supposed to be helping small businesses streamline their systems. Problem was, the only system here was passing blame downhill. So when my manager, Marcus, king of the inept, dumped Form 32B-AF on my desk and demanded I identify the task owner for an overdue project, I did what any sane person in a panic would do. I lied.
I wrote down Jansen. It wasn't premeditated. Jansen sounded like the kind of guy who never missed deadlines. The name had heft, someone who jogs before work, not someone who thinks Pop-Tarts count as breakfast. Like me. Satisfied, I dropped the form into Marcus's inbox and returned to my spreadsheets. I'd given the beast a name, and for a day or two, that was enough.
And of course, Steve had to open his big mouth.
Tell Jansen thanks for fixing the copier.
I nearly fell out of my chair. My ploy had worked.
The what now? I asked, doing my best to sound surprised.
The copier, Steve repeated, holding a donut as if we were casually talking about the weather. It's printing again. Full color, too.
I thought it was broken.
Jansen fixed it, Steve grinned. Didn't even take credit. Real quiet guy, huh?
He walked away, oblivious, leaving me with a cold lump in my gut. On just a simple signature from Jansen, the copier had been fixed. It no longer made a sound like a dying walrus whenever someone pressed print. But Steve's words rattled in my head. Quiet guy, didn't take credit. For a brief, stupid moment, I considered correcting him. Actually, Steve, Jansen doesn't exist. But that would mean explaining the form, Marcus's incompetence, and, most damning of all, my own laziness. So I said nothing. Over the next week, Jansen went viral. All sorts of things Marcus had stalled on began getting done around the office.
"Did you see Jansen stayed late last night to finish the Jenkins report?" Karen whispered in the break room.
Jansen recommended this podcast to me. Changed my life, Linda said. The boss himself started invoking his name in meetings. We need more people like Jansen, self-starters, problem solvers. By Friday, Jansen was officially Employee of the Month. Let me be clear, no one had ever seen Jansen. But if you drop a name into the office bloodstream, people will start building a body around it. Jansen was tall, they decided. Clean-cut, vegan, fluent in French, possibly. I was losing my mind. It might have ended there, with Jansen as a quiet legend haunting the office halls. Except Marcus summoned me.
Good news, he said, looking unusually smug. We're giving Jansen a bonus.
I almost fell off the chair. A bonus? $5,000, Marcus said. Well deserved. Since you were closest with him, I'll let you handle the paperwork. The cold lump in my gut expanded to a glacier. $5,000. Here was the rub. I could confess now, and Marcus, whose incompetence had created the situation, would gladly throw me under the bus. Or I could handle it. And so St. Mary's Home for Children got a generous anonymous donation from one Jansen. Jansen, man, Steve said the next day, tears practically in his eyes. Humble and generous. I said nothing. I think my soul left my body for a minute. It should have ended there.
But no.
The newsletter dropped the following Monday.
Employee Spotlight, Jansen. Quiet excellence, unmatched integrity.
They'd used a stock photo of a blurry man in a suit. It looked like something you'd find on a funeral program.
Have you seen this? Linda waved the newsletter at me like it was scripture. Did you know he volunteers at the children's hospital? At that moment, Marcus walked by. Evan, let Jansen know I want him in the manager's meeting this Friday. I almost laughed. It was either that or scream. I flailed, on vacation. Kilimanjaro.
Marcus nodded solemnly. Of course he is. Classic Jansen.
Classic Jansen.
The near catch came on Wednesday.
Jansen doesn't have an email address, Karen said, frowning.
I froze mid-sip.
What?
It says there's no record of him. This was it. The jig was up.
Oh, I said, snapping my fingers. That's because Jansen's still using his temp credentials, from when he started. Karen blinked. Oh, makes sense.
Does it, Karen? Does it really?
Jansen sadly left the company at the holiday party.
Marcus raised his glass. I'm sad to announce that Jansen has been poached by a Swiss firm. A man of his caliber deserves the world. The crowd gasped. Steve actually wept.
To Jansen! They cheered.
To Jansen, I muttered, staring into my drink. The next morning, I found the plaque mounted in the hallway.
In honor of Jansen, a model of humility and excellence.
I stood there for a long time, staring at my greatest lie and my greatest achievement.
Did I feel guilty? Maybe. But here's the thing. Marcus stopped micromanaging. Linda started volunteering at the children's hospital. Karen got promoted after saying she'd learned so much from Jansen. In his quiet, impossible way, Jansen had made the office better. As I walked past the plaque, I nodded.
Well done, Jansen.
Wherever he was.